Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the reading of the fic entitled The Fall of Icarus. Here's a summary. As Izuku begins to manifest the different one-for-all users' quirks, he is suspected to be the UA traitor. This fic is 21 chapters long, with just over 56,000 words. Here's Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Daedalus's Army. Shota slumped into his chair at the staff meeting table placed right in between Nem and Zashi and took out his pocket journal. Whether he'd be actually taking notes or playing one of the prepared Sudokus was still up in the air. Nezu had called an emergency staff meeting only an hour before classes were set to begin, and he still wasn't fully awake. Aizawa was supposed to be finishing his grading that he hadn't done the night before due to an extended patrol. Aizawa sighed and put aside his journal and took out his grading just as the door slammed open and the idiot Yagi walked in. Shota rolled his eyes as the scrawny man muttered apologies before taking a seat. Everyone's attention was drawn to the head of the table as Nezu clapped his paws together. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice." Shota grunted in acknowledgement and noticed the other teachers giving their own forms of acknowledgement as well. "It has gotten to the point that we needed to readdress a few things in regards to the school and our students." Aizawa frowned at the grim look on the principal's face. "Is this about the villain attacks?" A couple of the teachers flinched at his bluntness, but to talk about this softly was illogical. Besides, there was little else regarding the students that would have Nezu showing such emotion. "Indeed," Nezu agreed, clasping his paws together. "Our first-year class has been in too many altercations with the League of Villains, and it is our duty as heroes and their teachers to try and prevent any more interactions between them." "Have we had any leads on the traitor?" Hizashi asked, grabbing Shota's hand under the table. Shota squeezed it once before relaxing his grip. "I must agree with Yamada," Yaku said, with a sharp nod. "It is of utmost importance that we find this traitor and bring them to justice as they deserve." "Unfortunately, we've yet to find any substantial evidence to back up any of our theories," Nezu admitted, his whiskers twitching just barely in annoyance. Shota couldn't fault the slight loss of composure, though. They had hoped that putting the dorms in place would reveal the traitor, yet nothing had come to light. "If this is just about Class 1A, do we really all need to be here?" Shota, Nomuri, and Hizashi all turned harsh glares on the general education teacher that had only been hired this year. Aizawa's eyes glowed crimson as he glared at his fellow teacher, quirk flaring in his anger. The man flinched back from their gazes. "Your question has been noted and discarded as it is not constructive or appreciated," Nezu said sharply, making Shota smirk as he dropped his quirk and returned his gaze to the principal. "In fact, this matter concerns everyone in this room, no matter what you all may think. If we fail to prevent these attacks or locate the traitor, the school very well may be shut down for good." Shota's eyes widened in surprise. He knew that the commission had been putting pressure on Nezu, but this was extreme. "From here on out, I want everyone to keep their eyes and ears open. We'll be finding the traitor within the semester, and they will be dealt with swiftly for both the safety of our students and the safety of our school. I expect any suspicious behavior to be brought to me immediately, no matter how small it may seem, so that it can be further looked into," Nezu demanded. He tapped 4 fingers on the table twice, and then quickly departed. Conversations burst out around the room, but Shota, Nomuri, Hizashi, and Khan ignored it, as they stood up from the table and left the conference room, heading for the principal's office. "There's more to it, isn't there?" Khan asked. "There always is, but we'll discuss it when we arrive," Shota said, stopping all conversation as they continued their walk in silence. Luckily, there were no students around this area before classes, or they might have been frightened at the sight of the 4 teachers stalking down the hall with angered and conflicted expressions. When they entered the office, Nezu gestured for them to sit on the more comfortable couch before sitting across from them in his armchair. Shota was just grateful that the couch was large enough to seat 4 adults comfortably. "Thank you for being as efficient as always," Nezu said, pouring himself a cup of tea. "What happened?" Aizawa asked bluntly. "Last time we talked, it was nearly as dire a situation." "The commission knows of our little traitor problem," Nezu said, hackles rising. The 4 teachers grimaced at the news. "There is twice the pressure and threats of our school closure if it's not dealt with as soon as possible. That's not to mention what will happen if the media gets a hold of this." "This will cause a media explosion when they get a hold of it," Khan said with a grimace. "Can the commission really do that, though?" Hizashi asked. "Legally, no." What they can do is refuse any of our students' hero licenses as well as strip the licenses of any heroes that teach here, Nezu explained. So we go, Vigilante, Shota said. Boo-hoo. Nezu clicked his tongue as Namuri punched Shota's shoulder. I'm not too concerned about the commission, to be honest. I'm more worried about 1A and the threat posed to them. We need to find the traitor for their sake. None of my students are traitors, Shota stated bluntly. I would highly agree. From what they've faced, the surveillance we've watched of them all, and your relationship with them, it is highly unlikely that any of your students would be the traitor, Nezu noted. I'm even wondering if it's a student at all. You think it's a teacher? Namuri asked. I truly don't know what to think, Nezu admitted grimly. And that is the scariest part of all of this. All right, listeners. I know that's a short first intro chapter, but I thought it was good to kind of keep it left off there because the next one's going to pick up for Chapter 2 with the joint training for 1A versus 1B with Shinso. So I hope you all enjoy the intro to this. I really like this fic a lot. I'm a big fan of any suspected traitor AUs and things like that a lot. As you can probably tell, I do a good bit of them. So let me know your thoughts and reactions to the start of this. I did want to note, if you're ever curious about the fics themselves, and when I say, if you like it, go back and leave comments, kudos, and things like that, the links are always going to be in the descriptions if I'm able to put them there. And you can also check out those links and check out the tags too. So if you're ever concerned that maybe, I'm not going to include every single little detail. So if you want to check tags for things that you might be worried about, you can always check those as well. So feel free to check those out and, explore the fics themselves too. I just wanted to, remind you all about that in case you haven't taken a look at any of the descriptions. Usually it will be there. With that being said, I'm a huge fan of this fic, so please do let me know those thoughts on the first chapter. Chapter 2 will be up next, and as always, thank you all so much for listening.